Not too long ago, I did a test with these two mics from Rode, the Go 2 and the NTG, and I put them up against the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus as well, just to see how they did in distortion tests, because I have been finding with both of these microphones, when I take them out and about, I was getting clipping on the tops of the speech. With this one, the Go 2, there's not a lot you can do about it, to be honest. That's the way it is and that's what you get. So just keep the gain down on your camera in this case. But with this one, there's a little bit more control. With the NTG, I did as Rode suggested, and I set the gain very low on the back end of this. In fact, for this test, I set it to 1, the lowest it can go, and raised the gain in the camera. This is the Rode VideoMic NTG being spoken into at close quarters, nothing too loud, but this time to control the amount of gain I have, what I've done is I've raised the gain slightly in the camera by a few notches, and I've lowered it on the microphone, and I also have the pad engaged, so hopefully this isn't going to go anywhere near clipping. I'm certainly nowhere near 0 on the camera. Got the gain on this currently set at around about 10. So as I get closer, I'm going to turn the gain down on the microphone, not on the camera, and make sure that I don't go above 0, just to test whether this thing clips once you get a bit closer. I have a feeling that the clipping that was going on in my previous video was something to do with the electronics of the microphone, not the SPL of the capsule, because using a meter showed that I was getting nowhere near 120, so it's not that. I don't think it's that. So let's try it now a little bit closer. Now I've got the VideoMic NTG really close, and you wouldn't normally use it this way anyway, but what I'm doing is I'm testing how this thing reacts to big volumes at the front with that pad engaged. So again, the pad is engaged, the control has been on the back has been turned down. I'm now down at 7, and I've got the pad in, so that's minus 20 dB in, and hopefully it's still standing up to that. When I did some previous tests, this actually did work okay, which made me think, aha, I think I found the answer to that distortion problem. I think that is it. So at the moment I'm not going anywhere close to 0 on the camera because I'm controlling it from the rear of the microphone. Now I'm using quite a raised voice straight into the microphone. Before, this microphone was clipping even when I was just speaking to it close range, and as I said earlier, I still think it's something to do with the electronics and the amount of gain on the back of the microphone. So I'm using quite a raised voice now, close up, just to see if I can distort it. I've got the gain right down, and I'm going to go even louder now. I'm now shouting very loud into the microphone. I've got the gain down at 1, also with the pad engaged, and I'm really giving it some. I'm not really any louder than 100 dB, because when I tested with my sound meter earlier, I had to shout a lot louder than this to reach 102. So this is the microphone very close up. Bear in mind, this is a very harsh test for any microphone, so if there's signs of clipping, it wouldn't surprise me with any microphone, in all honesty. As you can see from that test, the NTG does hold up quite well in the really loud sounds. Let me tell you something about those loud sounds. I've got a sound meter, and if I'm lucky, if I'm really loud, I hit about 102 dBA. So all I can say is the capsule must be okay, and the electronics are being overdriven. So by reducing the gain on the back end of the microphone, and if you're switching the pad, probably going to be okay in most cases. The only thing is when to use that pad, because putting the pad in does raise the signal to noise ratio slightly. If you're in a noisy environment, that's not going to matter. You're not going to hear it. But if you suspect there's going to be sudden loud sounds around you, I would suggest definitely putting that pad in. Otherwise, turn the pad off, but make sure the microphone gain is set pretty low. It sort of goes against the grain with us because we tend to want to put the camera very low and put the gain up very high on the mic, but that's the way it seems to work. You seem to get a better match between the two. It does improve it, to say the least. I hope to see you next time. Cheers for now.